Hello and welcome back to Football League World TV. This afternoon we've got an Under the Microscope episode ahead of Preston North End's League Cup clash with Liverpool at Deepdale this evening. Joining me, I've got my Football League World TV sidekick, Ben Wignall. Ben, how are you getting on?
I'm all right, yeah. It's the first chance to really talk about PNE since we've started this in depth. It's a shame it's not under more positive circumstances after what happened at the weekend, but it's a good chance to talk about quite a big match that's going on tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. A big game for your club tonight against Liverpool in the League Cup. We'll get straight into it. So Preston, in terms of the Championship this season, it's been a little bit of doom and gloom surrounding the club. I think it's fair to say they've won just once in the last 2 months in the league. So I suppose the first place we're gonna go here, Ben, is this a little bit of a welcome distraction for North End this evening?
I'm not so sure, especially after what happened at Blackpool on Saturday. I think no one obviously expects us to go into this and win, regardless of what team Liverpool put out, which we'll talk about in a bit. So if we did cause an upset and go through, it would be celebrated. But to the majority of our fan base, the game at Bloomfield Road was so much more important than this. And I think the fact that the words coming out of the club, post-matching on Monday, were trying to essentially sweep that result under the carpet very quickly and move on to this game, it didn't sit right with a lot of people. I think there's also the feeling that the majority of our players may have been saving themselves for tonight's game. It's a big game against a big team on Sky. They can get a lot of attention if they put a big performance in, and I don't think that really impressed our fan base after what they saw on Saturday. So I think there's going to be, if we do end up putting in a big performance and taking it to Liverpool, I think there could be more frustration more than anything from the diehard fan base. But yeah, I do think it's a distraction in a way, but it won't really make up for what happened on Saturday if we do end up taking it to Liverpool.
Yeah, of course. I just mentioned that it's been one win in 2 months, and that came not too long ago against Coventry. And as you mentioned there, the performance at Bloomfield Road, where Preston were beaten by Blackpool in a massive game for the football club at the weekend. They failed to use the momentum from that Coventry win there. Do you sort of feel a decent performance tonight and potentially a shock result, could help build a little bit of momentum heading back into the Championship, given the tough start?
Yeah, I think it will build momentum if we do have a good performance, but I can't really count on one hand the amount of good performances we've had since the first international break. I know we drew all 5 games in September. Not many of them were really good performances. The second half against Coventry last week was a marked improvement on what we've seen in recent times. But obviously, against Blackpool, we just sunk back into the same, poor, abject performance. So I think it would be a real surprise if we did manage to take it to Liverpool, even if they do put out a bit of a weakened team. And if we do put in a good performance, obviously it should bring some momentum back into our league performances. But the Championship's a bit of a weird league. We could end up having a shock win tonight and then getting beat off Luton Town, who are a solid team in their own right, who we play on Saturday. So it's a tough one to weigh up, but you'd hope that a good performance tonight will breed some confidence.
Preston fans joining us, let us know your thoughts in the comments on North End's start to the season so far, the clash with Liverpool this evening, and whether you're attending Deepdale. Of course, this is the League Cup. Preston have been pretty good in the competition as well so far this season. 3-0 win over Mansfield in League One. They were 4-2 winners over Morecambe in the second round, and then 4-1 winners against Cheltenham in the third round. I think it's maybe safe to say that some of Preston's better performances this season have actually come in the League Cup. Would you say, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got a very favourable run of fixtures compared to a lot of other teams. I mean, there could be some potential banana skins in there, going up to Morecambe, who's kind of like a local rival. It's about 30 odd miles away up the M6, but there's a full house there, and that could have been a potential slip up. But I think we've got into these fixtures we've swapped some players around, but the team's been strong enough to get past League One and League Two teams, and I think these fixtures have given like Emil Rees a bit more of a confidence boost going into league games. He only scored twice last season, but he scored 4 in this competition already. I think he's one of the top scorers in competition. And yeah, I think we have had some shaky moments against these teams. I think Morecambe did cause us a few problems in the second round, but we've got past every team pretty convincingly in the end. It's just a shame that we've not been able to take those results generally into the league. I think the Morecambe one was sandwiched in between 2 league wins against Peterborough and Swansea, so that was a bit of a decent run. But when we beat Cheltenham, it was in the midst of a lot of draws that we couldn't turn into wins. And now obviously we're going into this fixture against Liverpool off the back of a poor result at the weekend. So hopefully we can show a little bit more. But I think if you ask any PNE fans, they won't be very confident going into it.
So we've had a comment in here from Liam. He's not too confident. I can't see PNE springing a shock tonight. 4-0 Liverpool. Next up, we're going to look at a couple of key pieces of team news coming out of PNE. We've had a follow-up comment from Liam as well. Having Sepp van der Berg available is definitely a boost. That's probably the key piece of team news coming out of Preston going into the game. Van den Berg obviously on loan at Preston from Liverpool, but the Premier League side have given him permission to play this evening. Ben, it's a good opportunity for Van den Berg to sort of prove himself to Liverpool, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think they sent him to us in January for the last half of last season. I think they were expecting to probably play at centre-back, but I think just with circumstances ending up being at right-back and then right wing-back as McAvoy plays a 3-5-2 system, and for the most part he's really impressed in an unfamiliar position, and I think he'll be looking to prove something to Jurgen Klopp and the staff. He was kind of way down the pecking order at centre-backs. He saw Nat Phillips, Reece Williams overtake him last season when they had a bit of an injury crisis. And that's why he's gone out on loan, and he's definitely developing into a very good Championship defender now. Whether we've got Matt Olusunde coming back soon from injury, whether that means he'll be shuffled back into centre back, which is Sepp said is his best position. That's the one he wants to play. Remains to be seen, but definitely coming up against his like parent club is going to be a good experience for him. I don't know who he's going to be coming up against, whether it's Sadio Mane. I know he didn't play on Sunday against Man United, and if he does come up against him, he's in for a tough night. But yeah, it's going to be a good experience from him either way. Hopefully he's fully committed to the cause, which I've no doubts he will do, because from everything I've heard him speak about PNE, he loves it here, and he's become a bit of a fan favourite.
So what about the rest of the side then? Are we expecting sort of wholesale changes? Often in the League Cup we see managers not take the competition that seriously, no matter who they're up against, and sort of give reserve players a little run out. Or are you expecting quite a strong Preston lineup to look to build that momentum that we spoke about earlier?
I'm expecting a strong team. I think the first few games of the tournament, we have picked a strong team. We made 1 or 2 changes perhaps. But for this match, I can see a couple of players who were maybe on the bench on Saturday coming in. I think Ryan Ledson is one player that he'll be flying into challenges. He'll be eager to impress. He's a self-confessed Liverpool fan, so I think that'll make him up for the job. I think Ali McCann might come back in as well. He's been out injured for a few weeks. He got an ankle injury before the international break, and I'd like to see him, if he's fit, given a chance in that engine room, because I think Alan Brown's suspended as well after a late red card at Blackpool. I can't see too many changes in defence. We've not got too much depth back there, so I can see him going with the same goalkeeper and back 5. And I think up front as well, if he's going to stick with this 3-5-2, I think Emile Reece, after his form in this competition, has got to start. Who partners him? It's a bit of a lottery. We've got Scott Sinclair, Tom Barkhuizen, who both are probably the leading choices. And if Sean Maguire's come back to fitness as well, so he's another player who might get a chance. So it's something for Frankie to think about. I assume he'll have his choices already nailed down. But I am expecting a strong team tonight to try and take it to Liverpool.
We'll come on to Liverpool in just a moment, but I do want to talk about Emile Reece. Like you say, he's had a good record in the competition so far, and the likelihood is the likes of Virgil van Dijk, he's not going to be involved this evening for Liverpool at centre-back. The likelihood is somebody like Joe Gomez might play. It's still very good defenders, but it's an opportunity for Emile Reece to really sort of put his stamp on the game, isn't it? The fact that he's not coming up against Liverpool's first line defence.
Yeah, I think we saw last season, his first season, he had that kind of spark in a few games where he didn't score, but you just knew that something kind of special was going to happen. And I think it was a bit of a disappointment when he only ended with 2 goals last season, and he's already obliterated that. I think it's something like 9 goals in 15 games in all competitions. This is a bit more of a test to what he's ever played against. Obviously, he scored 4 goals against lower league opposition in this cup. I'd say if he comes up against, I don't know who's going to partner Joe Gomez, if it's Canate, obviously he played on Sunday, or if it's Nat Phillips. I think he could give Nat Phillips a good game. He's a solid centre-back, Nat Phillips, but I just think Reece could. He's got a good change of pace when he's at full floor, and I think that he could cause Liverpool some problems. Just depends on who's playing around him, because he can't do it all on his own. He has done it at times. He created something out of nothing against Coventry last week and scored a very good goal, but he won't be able to do it all on his own against a team like Liverpool. But it's definitely a good chance for him to impress. And if he carries on his good scoring form, maybe Denmark's international team could be on the radar. I think they've got some good attackers in their own right, so it might be a long shot that. But if he can only keep on scoring and trying to impress, and this is a good platform for him and anyone else to show what they're made of.
Absolutely. Next up, we're going to talk about the visitors, Liverpool. So a free pass for Jurgen Klopp's side in the first few rounds of the competition, but last time out they beat Norwich 3-0 to get themselves to this stage. Minamino with a brace and Divock Origi also on the score sheet. It's going to be a much changed Liverpool side tonight, as we've sort of discussed, Ben. But the likes of Minamino, Origi, the Oxlade-Chamberlains, the Joe Gomez type of players within this Liverpool squad, this is their opportunity to prove themselves to Klopp, which sort of creates a little bit of a problem for Preston North End, even though they're not coming up against Liverpool's best players, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think if he put the team out that beat United on Sunday, it'd be a bit of a rout. And they've obviously got good players in depth. They got past Norwich pretty easily with this kind of team. I think it's going to be a similar team. I think Keller has injured, so Adrian will come in, and don't know who's going to replace Cade Gordon. I think he's going to miss out, and if it is Mane, then it's going to be a tough night for us. But yeah, with a few injuries coming into the Liverpool's first choice team, I think it's a good chance for a few of these players to impress. I know the game's coming thick and fast in every league. They've got the Cup, the Champions League, Premier League, so it is a good chance for him to show what they're made of, try and get in Jurgen's like Premier League plans again. And it's obviously going to be tough for PNE because we've not faced a team like this season. I think we've done okay against a few of the Championship's better teams like West Brom, but this is a much bigger test. And I don't know if we're going to sit back or not, or soak up the pressure, or we're going to try and actually take it to him. But I think whatever happens, we are in for a bit of a tough night, especially against the likes of Oxlade-Chamberlain, Origi, who have got a mass amount of Premier League experience, and even the youngsters that will probably play for Liverpool, they're obviously talented enough to get Klopp's attention, so they'll be looking to prove themselves going into the rest of the season.
Absolutely, and of course you're a Preston fan, Ben, and we're a Football League channel, so I don't want to get stuck on Liverpool for too long, but it's quite well reported at the minute, just how they dismantled Manchester United at the weekend. They were absolutely excellent, and of course we're not going to see those players tonight, but at the minute I think it's probably fair to say that Liverpool are one of the top 5 teams that are playing in Europe at the minute. It's going to be a tough test, isn't it, at Deepdale, no matter who's out there, just with the sort of stature that Liverpool bring to a game like this.
Yeah, definitely. I think remember 2 seasons ago we played Man City in the last 32. I think it was, not the last 16, but they played a pretty mix of a strong team and a few of the kids, and I think they kind of played us off the park and won 3-0. I know the likes of Raheem Sterling played, so I think City will have played a stronger team than Liverpool will, but you've just look at the depth and it's still a team that you expect to comfortably beat PNE on the night. And I'm sure everyone watching will probably be expecting it. So, yeah, I think it's just a case of for PNEs going out there trying to, put on as good a showing as possible. I think going back even 20 odd years, we served it up to Arsenal in the FA Cup. So we've got a run of playing against big teams in the cup and serving it up to them, but just not getting through. But yeah, it is going to be, the cards are stacked against PNE, regardless of who plays for Liverpool tonight.
Diving into the comments again, we've had some Preston fans joining us. PNE Vlogs thinks Daniel Johnson will need to be on his A game tonight. He could be a key player. Agree with that, Ben?
Yeah, definitely. When he's on song, he's probably one of the players that you expect things to happen. Depends if he does play or not. I think like I said, if Ledson and McCann do come in, I could see Johnson playing in the number 10. I was looking back at the Blackpool game on Saturday. I was actually, I think, in my predicted 11, I think I had him rested because he's played a lot of minutes this season with Jamaica and PNE. I thought Ryan Ledson would come in for that game, but he didn't. But if Johnson's fit, I can see him being in the starting 11 and hopefully being that player to pick out a pass for Reece to break through. It is a long shot, obviously playing against a team like Liverpool that'll get those chances. But he's definitely going to be a key player if he does play. I think he did get a knock actually against Blackpool that he shook off. So it's a case of if he's fit or not. But yeah, he's going to be one of our more important players on the night, I'd feel.
Another one from PNE Vlogs could see Ben Whiteman scoring a screamer tonight. I mean, we can't really sit here and judge whether that's gonna happen, but it would definitely be scenes at Deepdale if that did happen. Deepdale has of course sold out this evening. It's going to be a decent atmosphere at the ground. I just want to touch back on Saturday. There was quite a lot of displeasure towards Frankie McAvoy from the away end at Bloomfield Road. Ben, surely that's not going to be the case this evening. Given the opposition and sort of that we've moved back into the cup competition now. I think all the pressure on McAvoy is really stemming from the championship, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's just going to be a different kind of, not atmosphere, but kind of the people who are going to be there. Obviously, the away end on Saturday was kind of, there was some people in there who, voiced their opinion very loudly, but a lot of the fans tonight, I think, are going to be Preston-based Liverpool fans, and I think a lot of people know that there's a lot of Liverpool fans in Preston, and we're kind of a small fish in a big pond when it comes to teams on our doorstep. United, your Liverpools, who there's quite a few people in Preston who support North End and one of these big Premier League teams. So I don't think there's going to be a real toxic atmosphere like there was in the final stages of Saturday. However, I can see a few, maybe a minority voicing the displeasure, not towards just Frankie, but maybe Peter Ridsdale as well, because he's coming under a lot of pressure for some of the decisions he's been making at the club. But I think if we do shock people and go 1-up, I remember when we played Man United in the FA Cup 6 years ago, we went 1-0 up then, and the atmosphere was one of the best I'd seen on Deepdale in years. So if we can replicate that, then it'd be nice to see. I just think that from the people who, the diehard PNE fans who'll be there, there's still a bit of a hangover from Saturday. There's not too much happiness in the camp. And a lot of people are seeing this is not very much an important game. The Championship's obviously a lot more important, and there's going to be a bit of ill feeling still from Saturday. I am hoping that there's not too much, toxicity coming from the fans towards McAvoy tonight, but I think this is kind of a free pass, kind of, if we lose and then focus on Saturday against Luton, and then if that ends up being a defeat, then I can see it being a bit of a bad atmosphere at the end. But yeah, tonight I can see being a half decent atmosphere if things are going all right. But it's just a case of, I know it's sold out, but it's a lot of Liverpool fans that will be in the home end. I don't think you can sugarcoat that. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting night, that's for sure.
Next up, we're going to get your prediction. So another comment, just flag this up before we get your prediction, Ben. I can't see PNE bringing a shock tonight. 4-0 Liverpool. Come on then, Ben. What's going to happen?
I would like to be positive, I really would, but I can't see us getting a result tonight. Maybe we'll get a consolation goal, but I can see a 3-1 Liverpool win. And I think if you ask most North End fans, they won't be expecting a win tonight, 'cause Liverpool's second team could probably beat a lot of Premier League teams. So yeah, I'm going with a 3-1 Liverpool win. Obviously, I hope that's not going to be the case. And I think the best case scenario is we get a draw and then win on penalties. Wishful thinking, but yeah, 3-1 to Liverpool is my conservative guess.
And we've got Peony Vlogs agreeing with you there. They're going for 3-1 Liverpool as well. So I mean, there's not much, many Preston fans kicking around that are predicting a win this evening. What would you say is a good evening for Preston then tonight? Is it just about the performance, or is it solely about the result, or just sort of providing something, as we mentioned right at the top of the show, to build on going back into the Championship?
I think we need to show something. I mean, obviously we're not expected to really get a result, but just taking it to Liverpool, trying to put them on the back foot when I assume they were playing out from the back, just trying to put them on the back foot, and might leave us a little bit open at times at the back if we try and do that. But it's about trying to get the fans on side. We need to put in a bit of a positive performance. When we played Derby a few weeks back, we had 19,000 to commemorate Trevor Hemmings, but the atmosphere was very flat, and that owed to the performance. We were very poor. Derby pinned our wing backs back, and they were on the ascendancy all throughout the first half. And the atmosphere only got going in the second half towards the end, when we were on the front foot. So I think we just need a bit of a front-footed performance, which is all well and good saying that against a team like Liverpool, but all we can do is try our best on that side of things. The result, it's kind of after what happened on Saturday, it's not too important, but obviously if we do win, it'll be a very good feeling, and obviously won't make up for Saturday, but it'll definitely breed confidence going into Saturday against Luton. And obviously the last 8 of a cup, don't expect that for a Championship team. We've seen Sunderland get through. Obviously they've had a bit more of a friendly last 16 tie against QPR, and we definitely ruffle a few feathers if we did beat Liverpool, but I think it's a case of wishful thinking, like I've said.
Right, that concludes this Under the Microscope episode. Thanks for joining me, Ben. Good luck tonight. I hope that Peony can put in a performance that you and the supporters at Deepdale can be proud of. Just a reminder to anybody joining us to subscribe to the Football League World YouTube channel. We've had One Rovers Vlogs. How's it going, lads? Just to subscribe to the channel. So thank you for that. If anybody else joining us hasn't subscribed already, please do. We've got some more good shows coming up. Tomorrow we've got the debate show debating who are the top 3 best Championship strikers of all time. And then we've also got George Douglas back with the London show. So until then, take care, and we'll see you again soon.